Hi, everyone. This fall, we're going to be talking about beginning a culture of generosity. We're thinking about beginning and building a culture of generosity because Jesus teaches that where your treasure is, there your heart will be as well. As is so often the case, Jesus is right. Our ability to be generous is very often a strong indicator of how deep our faith is. To be generous, to open your hand and give rather than clench your fists and hold tight, you need to have faith that God will guide and provide. I remember when I started at the church where I served my internship, they handed me a box of offering envelopes. I'd been in the habit of giving when I had worked at other places, but when they handed me the offering envelopes there, I thought, this is kind of odd. They're paying me, and now I'm going to go turn around and give some of that money back. That just doesn't make sense. But at the same time, I did understand that giving was expected, so I gave. One day as I sat down with my checkbook and my offering envelopes, I happened to have my cable bill in front of me, and I wrote a check to pay for it. I realized at that moment that I was giving more to Comcast every month than I was giving to my church. I was contributing more to the organization dedicated to providing me with TV than I was to the organization that is people gathered around the cross to continue the mission of Christ until he comes back. I realized then that I needed to adjust my priorities, and to do that, I needed to grow in generosity. As I worked toward that, as I did grow in generosity, I also grew in my faith, and I grew in feeling God's blessing that I was able to be more generous. Growing in generosity has helped me grow in faith because at moments when I have grown in giving and generosity, I've stepped out in trust that God will guide me to how I can be a good and faithful steward of my finances, and I have stepped out in trust that God will provide enough. Spending some time with that notion of enough has also deepened my faith. I've come to see that sometimes giving us our daily bread each day, what we pray for so often when we pray the way Jesus teaches us to pray, that really does mean having enough for the day and patiently trusting God to provide enough for tomorrow when tomorrow comes. As I think about that connection between growing in generosity and growing in faith, I think about the way that connection has helped me understand what Jesus meant when he said, "Where your treasure is, there your heart will be as well." If all my treasure stays with me, my heart stays turned in on me. But times when I've grown in giving, especially in giving to my church, I can feel my heart being turned out toward others. And when I feel that, I know that I'm growing in faith, because our faith teaches us to turn our heart towards God and toward one another. I've come far enough in my journey toward greater generosity to see that growing in generosity helps me grow in faith. I have plenty of room to grow in both of these areas, but I'm excited to see what God will do among us here at Holy Shepherd as we come together to begin building a culture of generosity. Peace be with you.